It's new pistol day. We got a new one here, new old pistol. We'll take a look at it more closely in a moment, but first we got to shoot this thing. Here we go. Oh yeah, I like the feel of that. Whoa, woo, light trigger. Okay, let's see what I got at 45 yards here. Nice. Very cool. That's a good start. I'm having fun with this here. Nice. Woo. Well, that was something. Okay, kids, wear your safety glasses. That was a piece of brass right back, hit me right, I don't know, somewhere here. So generally with 22, you want to wear ear pro, of course you do. You want to wear eye pro with 22 because of all the extra dirty powder. Now the official stance of me and everyone wise is that you wear eye pro when shooting centerfire cartridges as well. I don't always, some people definitely don't always. Oof, that's getting my eye pretty good, huh? But this is why. So clearly I need to finish this mag because I'm not a quitter, and then I'm gonna maybe put some eye pro on. We'll see. Okay. Well, that was interesting. I've never had brass fly back at me like that. Now this is the ammo I'm using. Now the outside of it doesn't indicate how good the inside is. Well, we don't know, right? But it is, I think it's American Eagle. What do you call it? Oh, it might be Federal. There we go. It might be Federal. Poor, my girl cameraman here hates the Federal. I mean, we hate the federal government, but I don't hate federal ammunition as much as she does. So you saw some of that shooting with that caliber, right? Now back to this old girl here. Yeah, that's just so much different. Yeah, wow. Oh, as a reminder, here we go. M&P with a 5-inch barrel. Technically, yes, we got the 2.0, okay, but we got this trigger, whatever we want to call that. Iron sights, full-size grip, 17-round grip, and go look at it from the side here. Let's just look at the recoil impulse. Get up about as close as you want to right here. We're looking at the gun here. All right, here we go. Yeah, that reciprocating mass, that slide, that is just so 9mm, right? Yeah, and the misses are me, okay. So we'll do a little more with the 40. Same thing, you can move up, same target, and we'll just see how this thing bounces around. Maybe I'll slow-mo it, maybe not, we'll see, but yeah, so obviously recoil impulse is quite a bit different. Snappy, but very manageable. Muzzle flip is more, right? That's okay. It's just a different return. Pretty happy with that. So Okay. Also, while I'm here, check out that handy dandy holster. Yep, we're going with the, what do you call it? Where it sticks in the, now I forgot what it's called. The clamshell or whatever that thing is, okay? This is the cheapest holster I have, but it fits all the M&Ps, including the wider slide of the 40 cal. So I guess while we're here, there's that. Then here is the 9 mil. All right, we're getting right into it. Look at the difference in the slide width on the top. Now, all of the 40 cal holsters will fit a 9 mil, but because 9 mil is so prevalent, the 9 mil holsters are too narrow for the 40 cal, unless you have OG, you know, holster like this. Anyway, I'm gonna go put some iPro on, I guess, after the shooting, right? And we're gonna talk a bit more about the details of this thing, but so far, very happy with it. Obviously, it is a different cartridge, different caliber. It shoots differently because of that, and it also shoots differently because of the gun itself, the things that are unique to the gun. So let's go talk about it a bit more. All right, we're back at the bench here, and we're going to talk about these two things here. Well, the main thing, right? The main thing, this 40 cal M&P. So we got, of course, M&P 40. It's a 40 caliber, 40 Smith and Wesson, 40 short and weak, whatever you want to call that, okay? And this thing is obviously a 1.0, okay? And I wouldn't say obvious, but for a lot of people it is noticeable, okay? So we got, look at that there. This thing right here, that trigger, apex trigger in there. And I don't know what generation apex trigger, I don't know what that, like what differences there are, okay? But this is definitely not the stock original trigger in this thing. So, but 40 Smith and Wesson with apex trigger, it's a 1.0. So how can we tell that this is the original M&P? Well, let's take a look. For one, we don't have these little, there's no serrations right there. Versus, this is the, well, we're calling it the 2.0, okay? And look at the trigger, right? This, let's call it Gen 2. Gen 2 with these slide serrations right here, okay? That is a distinct difference in the first gen versus second gen. I should start calling them, I should call them first gen and second gen, because 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, like on and on, 2.5, 3, you know what I mean? Like all those different variations, which are not, no one goes by those except for me. And I mean, it's my opinion that counts, right? But it's so strange how we're still stuck on, this is the trigger that was released with the M&P 2.0. And we were already past that. We've already done multiple things past that. There's now reviews. There are reviews of the M&P 2.0 right now, which are 10 years after reviews of the M&P 2.0. And they're different guns. They just happen to be named the same thing by some people. So we're getting in the weeds, obviously. So this is second gen. This trigger is not horrible, okay, but it is definitely the hinge trigger with the dingus, okay, but it's a hinge trigger. Not everyone liked that, okay. We then went on to, and again, going back to, this is the first gen, not the first gen trigger, but basically the first gen trigger and the second gen trigger looked the same physically, but they had different geometry or whatever you want to call that inside. So they were definitely they were different in that regard, okay? So that's one of the main reasons people upgraded to the apex trigger in the first gen. Third gen, I'm calling this third gen, okay? The way we're going to designate that is by this trigger and these slide serrations. That trigger is way different. Obviously, it's much better. So, but we are talking about going back to that 40 cal. This is first gen because it doesn't have these slide serrations up here. There's no slide serrations right there. It's first gen because of the grip texture. Now this grip texture is not stock. Okay, it definitely isn't. This has been modified. Also, I'll point out right here that this cutout right there, I don't really know the function of that, but a person did that. That was not me. Okay, that's how I got the gun. Also, the slide. I don't know if you can see on the slide the colors on the slide here. I think that's really interesting. But hopefully that's in focus there. But that's not stock. What else makes it a first gen versus second gen? Okay, here we go. The beaver tail. The beaver tail on the first gen was pronounced, or at least, you know, like standard, like common. It was not a surprise to have the beaver tail on there. But second gen, no direct beaver tail. Okay, just it blunts up right there. So I don't know if that's good or bad, right? I don't have a strong opinion on it, but it's one way to tell the difference between the generations. The first gen had 3 different palm swells, 3 different size palm swells, and then small, medium, large. And then with second gen, they added a 4th size in there. So they had an ML, medium, large, and a large, and of course a medium and a small. I think that's right, yeah. So that makes the difference. Okay, let's talk about the mags. Here we got, they're basically the same. They're not the same, but they're very close. A lot of things are interchangeable, okay? The base plates are interchangeable. I bet the springs are interchangeable. I don't know, but these are both full-size mags, okay? And for those of you that don't know, a full-size 40 cal, full-size grip 40 cal with a full-size mag is going to hold 15 rounds. 15 rounds in a full size. And for a 9mm, full-size grip, full mag is 17 rounds. Okay, that should be known by now. So why the difference? Many of you know this, maybe you don't, but the size of the round is different. Let's strip some of these off here. So here we got, oh boy, this is Federal, 40 Smith and Wesson. And here we got, I don't know what that is, some other reload. I'm not sure what that is, but it's a 9mm. So the length of these two, okay, you see that? The length is basically the same. Now there is a slight difference there, just right, oops. There is a slight difference because of how the bullet is seated. Now also note that the size of the case is a little bit different. But so theoretically you can fit, not only can you fit more volume in a 40 Smith and Wesson cartridge because of the diameter, it's thicker, wider, the case is wider, but also the case is longer. So obviously you can't fit powder all the way up here, but theoretically you can load that projectile pretty shallow, relatively shallow here or something, and have a lot of powder in there if you really wanted to. Okay, and of course with 9mm, well, you can't do quite the same thing, but still, I mean, you can have something loaded pretty shallow, a 95 grain or something up to here, put a lot of powder in there. So more powder really is going to help you if it burns real fast, and it's going to have enough time to burn, like in a PCC, in a long barrel, you know, like a 10-inch barrel or 16-inch barrel or something like that. I don't know, but if you're doing this in a 3-inch barrel, you're not going to burn all that powder. If you just got tons of, actually, regular standard loads, you're probably not going to burn all your powder in a 3-inch barrel. So back to the diameter. So the 40 Smith & Wesson is wider than the 9mm. I hope that's focusing. We focusing? Please focus. I think it is. And so because of that, you cannot fit as many in a mag. But the mags are the same diameter, right? Same diameter. See if I can, how do I show that? Same diameter of these mags are same diameter. The difference being that a 9mm has these extra ribs, which make the mag narrower. Basically, it makes the inside of the mag narrower. But for a 40 cal, there aren't ribs. Now, to be clear, there is this rib right here. It kind of brings the cartridges together to feed better. Okay, but for the most part, the bullets are all the way to the outside of this cartridge. The cartridges are all the way to the outside of this mag in 40 cal. Now remember, I spoke. I did one of my recent videos. I talked about how the Shield Plus does not accept 40 cal mags or 40 cal as a cartridge because the size is too big. Well, the original Shield did, but that's because the same thing. We had same size mags, but the ribs were added or whatever on the 9mm. So how does that matter? Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe I could, if I had to, put 9mm in a 40, but probably not 40 in a 9mm. Yeah, I don't know. It's not like it really matters. So they say buy the gun, not the story. Well, I bought the story instead of the gun. Here we go. It's interesting because I actually was told this story after I was already ready to buy it. Apparently, this pair of guns, this and another one very similar, were used by a, what do you call it? Either bail bondsman or a bounty hunter. I don't remember which one they said, one or the other. Often they're, the same. People might, similar lines of work. And so he had these guns, and obviously they were kind of tricked out for the time, but they were already old. He probably got them 15 years ago. And apparently this guy worked for Saudi Arabian sheiks or something like that. And he would go down apparently in Tennessee or South Carolina or something and would help these guys with things that they needed done. I don't know what those things were. That is just the story, right? I'm buying the story. But that's what I was told as I was buying this gun. So that's kind of interesting. And then they said that basically the guy brought them in, pawned them, then bought them back from him later because they didn't sell. Then pawned them again. That's why they were back in the store several times. Whatever. So anyway, I'm going to have to shoot this gun again a little bit more. I'm really, really happy with it. But I want to make a little bit further, a little stronger opinion. But so far, I'm very happy with the Apex trigger in this. Very happy just with the grip and whatever. I will point out a couple things I'm going to have to do to it, okay? Look closely at these sights. Look at the iron sights on that. I'll just zoom in, right? Okay. So these irons, they're fiber optic irons, and they've definitely broken off. They're damaged. It's also very sharp, at least on that side, and that's not uncommon. But I might just completely replace these irons with something else. They are fiber optic front, and then just a U-notch rear, or I guess U-notch or just a square notch rear. So, okay, time for the obligatory trigger test on these things. Okay, Apex trigger on the Gen 1 M&P. Okay, some take up, not a lot, but there we go. Short reset. Okay, a good trigger, especially 10-15 years ago. We got M&P Gen 2, 2nd Gen M&P, more take up, definitely more take up. The take up is pretty light, and then the wall is pretty heavy. Some creep, then the brake. Brake's a little clangy. This gun, you don't notice it, okay? I mean, it's fine. But I think some people really don't like the hinge, and they don't like the curved trigger. Okay. Gen 3. Here we go. So still a lot of take up, that's okay. But then it's much more defined. Light take up, pretty defined wall, not a lot of creep. Watch this. That's not bad. This reset. Pretty good. Pretty good. I will say that the Apex is definitely lighter than the Gen 3, but it is, I wouldn't say it's tons better. I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna shoot it some more. All right, so I had about 8 mags for this thing. I just ran through all of those. So what is that? 120 rounds or something, just running through the gun. No issues, just getting more used to the recoil impulse or whatever. But now we're gonna kind of wrap up, compare it to a couple more things. But yeah, I'm happy with this thing so far. Nice short trigger. But it is still definitely, you know, there's more recoil. That's what 40 does. Okay. Little sprinklage of moisture here. So okay. There, it didn't quite line up like I wanted to. Now, did you notice that? Let's see if I can do that again. So very likely to happen here. Oops, can I see? Yeah, it's trying to follow my face, not the gun. But with the first gen M&Ps, it was very common for, as you insert that first round or the mag, for the slide to close. Now, I don't like things trying to do automatic things for me, okay? But if you get used to that and you know that that's happening, it really isn't any harm in that. Maybe. You tell me. What do you think? Now I'll point out too, as I unload that mag, as I finish the mag, locks back, empty. It's still an M&P. It still fits my hand about the same. It's still the same thing as I'm still flipping it around to drop that mag. I have to shift my grip to release for the mag release. Some people don't like that. This is just what these guns do. Modern guns are this is how they run, okay? Let's try that again. Actually, I'm curious if it'll still do that. Yeah, still runs closed. All right, let's run a little bit of 9mm. Now this is the second gen. Let's see. Okay, not necessarily. And that is because of that right here. Do you see how that geometry is different? I don't know if it's focusing. Focus on the right thing there, buddy. That is a little bit different than first gen. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it is not as likely to, yeah, doesn't close on its own like that. So 9mm. Not hitting it. I don't know why I'm not as accurate with that. It doesn't make me happy. Should try to do that without moving my feet. Nope. I'm getting my shoulders hunched up. Tactical turtle. I gotta. And I don't know. Should I move my whole body? Here we go. Here's a good question. I'm just going back and forth between shots. Happen to be using 9mm at the moment. Between different spots. They're like 15 or 10 yards apart. And I don't know how far apart am I. How far apart is this here? The aspect ratio is all wrong anyway. But this far apart. I'm moving between the two. Okay. Should I move just my arms? Should I move my body? I'm gonna try both. I don't know. How many rounds we got left in here? Oh, one. So I guess I'm mostly moving my legs, keeping my body pretty straight. I don't know, I think it's working for me. I'm gonna try to keep my body just square right here. See if I just move my arms. See, I'm actually moving my chest, I think. Okay. Ah, crap, that's the rest of my 9. I mean, I don't want to run and get more, but yeah, that's it for now. We'll do it, not literally. That's the 9 I'm going to use for now. And shoot a little more, 40. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm too tensed up. Oof. I wouldn't say that's a workout, but that is stress inducing, okay? It's stressing my body and mind. I think that's good for me, right? Okay, last mag. Let me go. Last mag of this old girl. This old M&P first-gen Apex trigger, weirdly colored slide and everything, with this custom stippling job. It's nice and warm. Ooh, yeah. First-gen. Finish it off here. Oh, we got to do this obligatory. Here we go. It is starting to rain a little bit. First shot missed. Okay. Nope. Okay. Guess that's it. Well, hey, that's it for now.